What's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to make $200 profit on eBay. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so we want to talk about making $200 a day. That's like $25 an hour or around $52,000 a year. This is what people are going for when they want to replace their job with reselling. Now I'm going to give you guys an actionable plan for how to build this. So starting off, essentially time-wise, how long is this going to take? Let's say you do 40 hours a week like a normal job. I think 2.5 hours of the 8 hours a day is listing, shipping, organizing, packing, prepping. 2.5 hours for the processing part. 5.5 hours is going to be looking for items to sell. I think a lot of people underestimate how hard it is to find items. So I've given you guys 3 different models. One model is $20 profit. The other model is $13 profit, and the other model is $10 profit. Now, there's 2 things I don't recommend when you're doing this by yourself. Number 1, I don't recommend selling items under $10 profit because you will run out of time. Processing all this stuff by yourself, you need to make at least $10 per profit, in my opinion, because otherwise you will run out of time. So anything that's under $10, I don't have any problem with you donating that item because there's only so much time in the day when you're doing this by yourself. I don't recommend looking for items that are over $20 profit because you'll spend too much time sourcing. So there needs to be a balance here. Finding the bread and butter items, in my opinion, are between $10 and $20 profit. And we'll do more videos on this channel where I go out sourcing, looking for those types of items. By the way, if this is your first time here, my name is Chris. I am building this store back up to 13,000 items. Last year, if you were following me, the store went all the way up to 28,000 items. But now that my items sell a lot faster, I actually can't get to that point. My store currently has around 4,000 items in it, and we're doing about 1,000 items per week. So that's where I'm at personally. I've been doing this full time for about 5 years, and I want to go over how to do this solo because a lot of people start solo and way too many people hire too soon. Okay, so the 3 models are $20 profit, $13 profit, and $10 profit. And what that looks like is either 10, 15, or 20 listings per day. So depending on how much you like to source, that's going to depend on how much you list. If you spend more time sourcing great items, you might spend very little time listing. So just another example, let's say you made $100 per sale, then you only need to list 2 items per day, but you might spend half an hour listing those items and 7.5 hours a day looking for 2 $100 super home run items. So it depends on your model. So in this model that I'm sharing with you guys today, I recommend 2 days off, 5 days on, 2 days off with your family. Most people don't actually consider sourcing work. So you'll see a lot of resellers who say they don't work full time. But if you count their time, because they are going to estate sales, garage sales on the weekend, that time, if you add it in together, they are working full time. They just don't realize that because sourcing for them is considered fun. So the hard part, listing, shipping, that part is really only 12.5 hours a week. The rest of it really is going to be looking for things. Okay, so if you treat it like a job, you need to have a schedule, right? So I go over in this show, what I recommend is first thing in the morning, you knock out customer service and you knock out shipping, then you do your photography, and then you do your listing. You can just group all of that together and do it in the first 2.5 hours per day. So there's plenty of people in the Patreon group at patreon.com/theresellers podcast that get all of their eBay processing done by as early as 7:30 in the morning. So imagine waking up at 4 o'clock, grab a cup of coffee, knock out customer service, shipping, get your photography done, listing. You're done by 7 o'clock in the morning. Most people haven't even woken up yet, and you've already made a full-time living on eBay. So when it comes down to numbers, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm one of the main YouTube channels talking about the numbers behind running this versus just talking about what I find. And it's a very, very different demographic. When I look at people who watch my channel looking for hauls and what I'm looking for out, that's a very different person than somebody trying to build a resale business. That's separate. So I get a lot of flack on this channel because I talk about hobby sellers and everything sellers versus niche sellers and professional sellers. So I consider a professional anyone that lists, in my opinion, over 10 items a day. So 10 times $20 profit would be the quote unquote picker model. You're out there most of the time looking for really cool items. Versus my model is more volume, right? I don't want to go out picking for items. I want the items to come to me. So that means the profit margin on the high end might be $10 profit. So it just depends, what do you want to do? Spend your time sourcing or spend your time listing, right? And either way, you have to put the work in. The 2 easiest ways to make money on eBay are do more work in the morning or do more work in the evening. It all comes with more work. Now, one thing I don't recommend, but there's a lot of people who listen to this channel that do this and a full-time job. So I don't recommend you double dip, meaning I don't recommend you list at work. I'm not here to get people fired. I'm not here to steal from other employers. When you're doing that, you're stealing from your employer. And the reason why I bring that up is because when you check Instagram, when you check YouTube for a video that's more fun, when you're listening to music instead of listing, you're stealing from your own business. Whoever you are out there, you are whoever you are out there, Inc. You are that company. When you're distracted, you're taking time away from that. If you did all your eBay work all in one run, honestly, it'd only be 2.5 hours. You know, I was talking to Tech and Sporks, my colleague, and he was saying he would love to stand behind you with a stopwatch and say, okay, let's see how long eBay actually takes you to do. It doesn't actually take that long. If you were just starting, your first listing ever, I still think it would take less than 1 hour. That's you figuring out what the item is, looking for some kind of markings on it. So as an example, somebody posted, how would you look up this Garfield doll, right? So Garfield, if you didn't know that was Garfield, you could Google cartoon orange cat, right? And most likely, if you Google cartoon orange cat, it's gonna pull up Garfield because Google is pretty good at finding it. But let's say I went one step further and I said, let's say you're colorblind. You don't know it's orange. You also don't know what a cat is. If you were to Google image reverse search it, it would still pull up Garfield because Google can search by image as well. So inside the group, I thought that was a really useful tool. People showing Google images in an average of 1 to 5 seconds, being able to pull up exactly what it is that you're selling. So we're talking about 1 to 5 seconds to identify what an item is. That's really fast. Okay, so now you know what it is. All you have to do now is take photographs and list it. So I think start to finish, you should be able to do 10 per hour. If you can't do 10 per hour, definitely join the group, post in the Facebook group and let us know what does your process look like that's making it take so long. Because really this channel should be mainly about looking for the most profitable items plus setting up your schedule. And as you know, looking for the most profitable items is the skill. It's not necessarily what it is. It's being able to identify, filter, sort out all the things that don't sell really well. That's what this channel really is about. So I want you guys to pay attention to how many items you're listing per day, what's your average profit, what's your average revenue, how much is shipping costs. If you guys haven't joined the 100 listing challenge, the link is bit.ly/100 listing challenge. That link will take you to a document where you can record 100 items. That's not, I have to repeat this, that's not how you record taxes. I just want people to understand how the fees work. When you are recording taxes, it's different. So in that spreadsheet, I recorded the cost of goods sold on my personal items as 0. You don't have to do that. You can record the cost of goods as what you paid for it. The reason why I wanted to put 0 there is because I wanted to show cash flow. When you're selling things you already own, you don't need to come out of pocket. So me selling those first 10 items for $1,100 is $1,100 I have now to go buy other goods. That's why I used a cost of goods of 0. But when I record my taxes, I'm actually going to use what I paid for those items. So there's a ton of questions coming in about selling personal items for business and how you account for it. This channel is about being a business. It's not about selling all the goods in your closet because you can only do that one time. Then your closet is empty. So I recommend everyone sell all the things you own, enter in what you paid for it or guess what you paid for it. I'm not a CPA. We have one in the group. You can tag Cheryl Miller if you join the Facebook group and she can help you one-on-one. If you have tax questions, ask a professional like her, ask a real accountant. But this is not about only selling your personal items. I want people to make tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this, not just making a couple bucks on the side. So this channel, this video specifically is outlining how you make a full-time living on eBay, and it's going to require a full-time effort. You're really going to have to get in there and figure out what your day looks like. Imagine going to your boss right now and saying,
you know what, I don't feel like working 9 to 5. I'm just going to work whenever I feel like it. And I know you have these goals for me to do at work, but I don't know if I want to do that. I'm just going to do whatever I feel like.
You're not going to have that job the next day because that's not how it works. When you work a 9 to 5, they give you a specific goal. You're the cashier at Subway from 9 to 5. You have to be here when customers are checking out to buy their sandwich, and you have to say, do you want chips and a drink? That's your job. You can't say, I don't want to do that. I'm only going to ask if they want cookies, because that's not part of the protocol, and that business can't operate without you doing it by the book. So this this channel and this video is showing you how to do it by the book so you can be consistent and successful every single day, not just once. When you go online, all the people who are disagreeing with me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, the people who are disagreeing with me don't list consistently. So that's the main thing. If your store is only 500 items or 1,000 items and you're making side income, that advice is different. This is for people who want to make a full-time living. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next section. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Please join the mentorship group at patreon.com/theresellerspodcast. See you next time.